Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, what's going on, sir?
Good morning, Bryant. Another Sunday morning.
Yes, indeed. Two weeks in a row we're doing a Sunday morning recording.
I know. I noticed something for the first time. It's probably not the first time it's happened, but it's the first time that I paid attention to it. And the different angle that you sit at when you're recording alone, at least in this occurrence, is showing, kind of a little bit of your collection there of books and other things.
Yes, adult beverages.
Yes.
Yes. This large bottle of Captain Morgan private stock that is reserved for you.
And that's only about half of it. That shelf continues. I know I've been there many times.
Yeah. Maybe I should blur out my background. It makes me look like I might have a consumption issue.
And you really don't.
No, not at all.
No.
Definitely not right now anyways, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Anyway, you ready for this? Ready for this topic?
I am. Absolutely.
What is it? What is this topic? This is 2 in a row for you, by the way. So I know I owe you a couple, but this was so good, I didn't want to pass it up.
Well, I don't know. It's interesting because I don't know where these things are coming from. They're just kind of like popping in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's something that happened where I was exposed to something or I read something that caused me to think of this, but I can't put my finger on exactly what it was. The title I threw out to you and the subject matter for the day is The Evil of Envy.
The evil of envy.
The Evil of Envy.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think about that?
It's a great topic. And when I was doing my research for it, I typed in that phrase just to see what was out there on that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can find so much good, viable information on envy and what it does to you if you allow it to. But it's this whole idea of being resentful of what someone else has, whether it be a possession or a skill or a personality trait or whatever it is, and you holding that in your heart in a negative way truly can lead to some evil outcomes. It doesn't have to, but it can. And so I think it's a great topic to spend a few minutes on for sure.
So when you say evil outcomes, say more about that. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with envy is it's a very negative, destructive, powerful emotion, or it can be, that can literally ruin your life. I mean, there are men who have murdered other men because they looked at their women the wrong way. No, I'm sorry, that was not exactly right. Man and woman break up, and the guy is hurt about that, doesn't want to break up with her and doesn't want her to be with anybody else. So if she is, it can be very toxic. And so that's what I'm talking about, evil, when it manifests itself in very destructive and dramatic ways that can harm you. That's what I'm talking about when you ask the question about evil. I don't know. What do you think?
So, it's interesting. You talk about doing research on this, and, if anybody that's watching or listening just types in the term in, Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine you're using, just type in the evil of envy. And for me, the most of what comes up initially is all religious based, right? So
Mhm.
because envy is one of the seven deadly sins, and so there's a lot of that pops up. Um,
And one of the 10 commandments.
yeah,
Basically, do not covet. The 10th commandment is do not
yeah,
covet, which is envy. You're right.
yeah. Ultimately, the same thing. Yeah, great,
Right.
great point there. Um, but it's it's just one of those things that when you start thinking more about it, why does it occur, right? Why does someone feel that way about someone else's possessions or accomplishments, success, etc.? And ultimately, it's the world's mirror reflecting back on you your perceived inadequacies, low self-esteem, lack of confidence. It really is, all of those things that you're feeling when you feel that envy for somebody else's success or uh, getting, having certain possessions and so on. That's all about your own personal insecurities and lack. Really, I mean, to sum it up into one word, it's all about lack and a mindset of lack,
Right. Yeah, I agree with that
which is
completely.
not healthy in any way, shape, or form.
So how do you deal with it when you see that, because it happens every single day, right? I mean, you walk outside and somebody drives by in a brand new pickup truck that you like, and it's an opportunity for you to be envious of that brand new awesome pickup truck that somebody else has that you want, or whatever your thing is. It might be something completely different, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it is an opportunity, right? It's an event that is occurring, and then you
Right.
have the ability to respond however you choose to respond.
Right.
And envy is not necessarily the guaranteed response. That's a choice. You could replace it with things like appreciation. Appreciate the beauty of whatever that is. You used a truck as an example, right? Appreciate the beauty of that truck and be happy for the person that has it, right? And it might not even be, it's funny because I think people will get sucked into stuff that it's, you're envious of something that you would probably never even go out and seek to get on your own, but because somebody else has it, now all of a sudden you're envious of it,
Yeah.
which makes no sense
Right. Makes no
when you
sense
when
at
you
all.
say it out loud and you actually think about it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I think those are some of the ways around it, right? So approach it with appreciation and respect for what it is, and be happy, or rejoice in somebody else's success, and not flip it and turn it into, oh man, they have that, I'd really like to have that, I should have that, and turn it into a negative.
I think you've said it perfectly. And I know many times in my life, in a variety of places that I've read and studied, the positive benefits of when you see something that somebody else has that you like or even want. Yeah, you praise them, you be grateful for them, because that sends through your entire psyche and your entire body goodness that helps you get more motivated, be more happy, and so on. It's not bad to want something, to strive for something, to
No,
see
definitely not.
something that wow, I've not seen that before. That's really cool. I think I want that. And then to put in a plan to go after it and get it on your own, to put in the effort and put in the time. It builds character if you see something, and if it is say it is a possession, you see something and you want it, and you say, I'm going to have something like that. Good for that guy or that gal. That's awesome. Now I'm going to go after it and get it myself, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to set goals, and I'm going to plan. I mean, that's stuff that can come after going after something that you want. That's the complete opposite of envy, though.
Yeah, use it as fuel for that, that inspiration, that motivation that you need to pursue it yourself.
Yeah.
Providing it's something you actually want, and not something that you just decided you wanted because somebody else has it.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a great way to look at it. Yeah, use it for that fuel. Light
And
the fire.
how many times have we talked about on the podcast? You get what you focus on. And if you focus on something in a resentful, envious, jealous way, what's that going to do? That's gonna bring all of that negativity into your life, and
Yeah.
because you're focusing on it, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, the only person suffering any harm from that is you.
That's right.
It's those are all caustic, negative emotions that you don't need to be bringing in house.
Right.
One of the things I've said many times, and I think if you operate from a base of kindness and compassion for others, and let that be your prevailing way, then
Hmm.
for me, it's like that's almost like some type of chemical extermination for all the negative emotions that you could experience. When you're operating with that compassion and kindness, those other things can't creep in. It's like
You're right.
compassion and kindness, um, just completely trump all of those and negate them and keep them away. So it's like a repellent, if you will.
Yeah, because your brain is filled up with the good things rather than the bad things, and it can, you can only focus on so much. It's the same thing with habits. The way to replace a bad habit is to replace it with a good habit. You
Mhm.
put a good habit in, you can only do what you can do, the things you have time to do. So if you establish a good habit, again, the bad habits fade away. There's just not room for them. Same thing with envy. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something that I think it's not uncommon for somebody to see something that someone else has and want that for yourself. And at the same time, it depends on how you respond to that desire to have it for yourself. It could be, like we said, in a positive way where you use it as inspiration, or you could flip it into a negative, anger towards that person or animosity, and then that's just all negative internally. So figure out a way when you see it and work with it, right? So now that maybe this is the first time you've heard this, so now that you've heard this, go out and practice it. It's like any other skill that you master in your life. You have to do it wrong, and then do it right, and see which one you like better, which one feels better to you, and then work on continuing to improve so that you don't respond in a negative way in the future. It's not like a perfect, okay, I decide today I'm not ever going to be envious of anything anymore, and that's it, it's done, you'll never be envious. No, it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Right.
But I think it's something that you can absolutely ultimately eradicate from your life by practicing it and continuing that prevailing thought of or way of being, leading with kindness and compassion and happiness and joy for others and their success, and rejoice in their success. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing, and perfectly stated. And really, the last point that I would make on this issue is, especially if you have a tendency to envy what other people have, each one of us individually are unique, um, individuals with unique set of talents. We are wonderfully made by God, and we have our own unique contribution to the world. And rare and unique is valuable. You are a valuable person, and there's nothing more powerful and more interesting to other people than something that's unique and different.
Yeah.
Just be yourself, live your own life to the best of your ability, and don't envy what everybody else has. I'm not saying don't strive after improvement and going for things you want, but I'm saying do it in your own way. Be your own person,
Right.
uh, because that's incredibly valuable. And honestly, you do that, other people will envy you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you gotta evaluate your level of success based on your definition of success, not somebody else's.
there you go.
And I think the first thing you can start with is by understanding that you're enough. Like you said, you're unique. There's nobody else like you, and the odds that you are crazy. Um, but really understand that you're enough, right? You are enough the
Right.
way you are. Now, can you improve? Can you get better at certain things? Absolutely. And at the same time, you're enough just like you are. Be thankful for the things that you have. Have that mindset or attitude of gratitude
You bet.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And when you operate like that, it's hard to get into that negative space. But
Yeah.
here's the thing about envy that I think is somewhat interesting and disturbing. oftentimes when we have these negative emotions, misery loves company, right? So you want to share this with other people and bring them into your misery. Envy, I think, is one of those exceptions. It's almost like you suffer in silence because, how do you really communicate that? Oh man, look at that. John's got this. Why does he deserve, you just don't hear people talking like that. So I think in a lot of ways, when people are envious, they suffer in silence.
Yeah, I would say that's mostly true, but I think it also can manifest itself into gossip.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
that it can turn into, yeah, and then not only are you hurting yourself, but you're bringing other people down too, or you're bringing them in. Yeah, just like you said, you're bringing them into your misery because you're gossiping about them because you don't like what they have, or you don't like what they're doing, or you don't think it's fair that they got what they got. And yeah, and then you talk down about them, and
Yeah.
all that stuff comes back at you. It does eventually.
Yes,
So,
it does. What
yeah,
goes around comes around.
that's right. That's right. So
So put good stuff out there, and that's what'll come back
yeah,
to you.
yeah, be yourself. When you see something that you like and maybe you want, turn it into a positive, not a negative. Praise the person. Be happy for them. Lift them up and say, "Wow, I don't know what they did to get that, but there's that great line from the Will Smith movie. I think it's called The Pursuit of Happiness." Yeah, and he, he's a homeless guy. He's walking down the street and he sees a guy pull up in front of him in New York City. He sees a guy pull up in, I don't know, a Lamborghini or some really fancy car, and he says, he looks at him and he says, "I want to know what you do or how you do it so that I can get what you got." And it wasn't a negative thing. It was a motivating thing for him.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that because it's, approach it from a level of curiosity or inquisition,
Right.
and not envy, right? How did you do that? Teach me.
There you go. There you go.
Because I'd like to have the same thing.
There you go.
Not that I am envious of you for having it. I'm inspired by you having it and want to know how I can get it myself.
There you go. There you go.
Very cool.
All right.
Well, I think we've covered this topic thoroughly, and I managed to make it through the entire podcast thus far and not say anything about your unique and different background. And I'm not talking about your personal history. I'm talking about the background in the video that we're watching right now.
Yes.
You are obviously not in your normal location. Well, we're not in our normal location, but clearly you were out having some fun somewhere, and looks like you're in a hotel.
That's it. It's
Nice.
a very nice hotel room up in DC. Actually, I'll say that much. And
Nice.
had a wonderful Saturday night.
There will be people out there that watch this that will recognize that decor, and they'll know exactly where you are, and that's cool.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for your flexibility to record on a Sunday again, and I think next week we'll be back on our normal schedule. And and we must call out, happy Super Bowl Sunday to everyone, and good luck to now. By the time this actually is released, we'll know who the champion was. But at this point, we're saying good luck to both the Eagles and the Chiefs. And I think by Wednesday morning when this actually goes out, the Eagles will actually have another Super Bowl championship.
That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I think they're going to pull it out.
Okay,
I just have a feeling.
All right, here's my prediction. You ready? All right. I'm probably going to eat crow big time on this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think Kansas City is going to win by more than 10.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Good deal. Well, you know what I think? One of us is going to be right.
One of us is going to be right. That's right.
I think there's 100. Well, I don't know about the more than 10 part.
Right.
But I can guarantee you that one of us is going to be right, that either Kansas City or Philadelphia is going to win.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thank you again, and good conversation. I'm going to reach over here and hit this button. Say something like this: no matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.